So going back through the film today, did you see anything differently than you kind of felt last night after the game?
No, not a lot. I saw what I felt when the game was over. I felt like we had played an incredible 26 minutes or so. Incredible. We changed course, because of Isaiah's situation, and we did some different things, and I thought we were fantastic. And then, one of the biggest momentum shifts I've seen, certainly this year for sure. We've had some go the other way for us, but this one, they just got amazingly hot from three, and we didn't, we had a hard time scoring. I said, after the game, same thing. The game to me was just the fact that we really struggled to score in the last 8 minutes. If we'd have just, had a little bit of offense going, I think we'd have been fine, but unfortunately we didn't.
You talked after the Georgetown game kind of how you felt after that game. You could have won, and and the team kind of echoed that call. Do you feel, you hold them to 38% shooting, that you play this game 9 out of 10 times you win, or is that not a similar feeling from Georgetown?
Well, those are two completely different games, and you bring it up to the only two we lost at home. So we're talking about those, but those are, one of them was so long ago I don't remember all of it, but I know they were incredibly hot that night. I do remember that. But I think they're totally different games. But certainly this game, obviously you could find, well, it's very close. It turns into a one-possession game, and you can always say we had a great chance to win a one-possession game. But even more so in this one, with a big lead, of course, those are really tough pills to swallow when you give up a big lead.
And you talked about a little bit last night as well, the kind of flipping through that 2-3 zone and back to the man, and then back to the 2-3 zone. Looking through that again in the film, but also how do you feel about each of those, and also what do you think is going to be the best going forward?
Well, I think that's, I felt, you mentioned already, we held them to 38%, which is good enough to win, 95% of the time. Now they did hit an awful lot of threes, partly because of the zone, and they moved back. If you look at, the one different thing was, sometimes during the game you don't exactly see the distance they're shooting from. You can tell whether they're on the line or a little off the line. They were way off the line. They were way deep, and a bunch of NBA range threes went in. But I think for that game it was absolutely the right thing to do, and it really helped us, and it could have won the game. Moving forward, we're a man-to-man team, and so I think it'll be a lot, for the most part, like we have been, where we have the zone, but we've always been a man-to-man team and continue to be so.
And the challenge for this week, you've talked about it as well, of going to Florida, then coming back to Florida. Have you seen kind of a similar challenge to this in your career, and how do you think the team will respond?
I'm sure I have.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many games over the years. I don't remember it like that, though. Nothing comes to mind that's exactly those fast turnarounds going, back to back, really to the same place, kind of far away. It is a challenge. First of all, the road's a challenge. Second of all, the teams we play are very, very good teams, and then on top of that, and we had a Sunday game, so we're playing 3 games in six days, I guess, and maybe seven, I guess, if you do the real math. But that's a lot for college basketball. You don't usually do that. So yeah, there are a lot of things about this week that are very challenging, but it's an important week, and we've got to respond.
And the second time you guys are going to be seeing these same teams, do you plan on doing anything differently from the first time through, or is it what was your feeling on that?
Well, first of all, it feels like it was another year ago. We played, those are the first 2 games we played. First 2 and now last 2 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. So an awful long time ago. Probably not too many different things. Teams are mostly going to play the way they play. Obviously, for our last game, we kind of had to do some different things because of Isaiah being out. But we're hoping and expecting that will be in good shape there and be back to full strength, other than without Everett.
And lastly, going into this week, is there any emphasis from the coaching staff as far as putting the last week behind you, or is that something you don't really talk about in the locker room?
Well, the week wasn't all that bad. The game was rough, but wasn't Memphis this week? Yeah. So the week, we had a great win over Memphis, and we're in position to have a terrific week and a great ending to the conference season. I am proud of our home record. I was hoping it would be a 1 and not a 2. But no, I in some ways, I don't want them to totally put it behind. I think that sometimes pain can help you. I don't want them to overthink it, but I also don't want to, sometimes you can use that, and I hope we're able to do that.